Jason and Kim Crystal with a pistol, chainsaw and a machete. This is nutty, it's Michael. This is Jason and Kim Crystal with a pistol, chainsaw and a machete. This is nutty, it's Michael. Jason and Kim Crystal with a pistol, chainsaw and a machete. This is nutty, it's Michael. This is Jason and Kim Crystal with a pistol, chainsaw and a machete. This is nutty, it's Michael.
What's up, everybody out in YouTube world? This is Versus Loco, the motherfucking Horde Cholo, back at it again with a long overdue video. So basically, what had happened is that I did do a video back in November, and for some reason the video will not post on YouTube. So I now have everything that I have bought from then and up to date. So basically we're gonna run through this. I kind of got a lot of stuff right now. Actually, it's not as much as I actually thought I had, but we will go through this stuff starting with we'll say Scream Factory, then we'll start going into Vinegar Syndrome. I have maybe one Severn, one Kino, one Arrow, a couple different things like that, but then we'll start going through all this, and then I do have some other stuff too that is not horror, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, let's start off with the Scream Factory. So we'll start off, we have Rabid. We got the Soska Sisters remake of Rabid right here. I did start watching this and I did like it as much as I seen so far, but I have not got a chance to finish it. But we do have that one right there. Glad to have that. We got My Bloody Valentine right here. Again, I did start watching it with the new transfer. I watched about halfway through, but I did not get a chance to finish it. Great film, though. Awesome slip covers. Glad to have those. Really neat right there. But you know what? They're fucking... that original cover art, though, is just epic. It just reminds me completely of the movie rental places back in the day. I love that damn original cover art right there. Fucking awesome. But very glad to have those right there. Next up, we have The House That Jack Built. I have not got a chance to watch this yet, but I have heard amazing things about it. Glad to have that one there in the collection. Next up, I did not have these ones, surprisingly enough, and I got them for a really good deal with slipcovers, so I'm very glad to have that. And that's Psycho 2 and Psycho 3. Glad to have both those, especially with the slipcover. Next up, we have Troll 1 and Troll 2. Now, me personally, I am a huge fan of Charles Band's old stuff, and I remember loving the original Troll when I was a kid, but upon rewatch, it was not very good. And then Troll 2, I don't know why people think it's so bad that it's good. I thought it was so bad that it's bad. But so those movies were a big bomb for me, but glad to have them in the collection, especially now because they're out of print. Next up, we have Silver Bullet. This movie I have never seen until I purchased this, and I'm glad to have it because it actually is a really solid werewolf movie. I did enjoy it quite well. Cool shit right there. Next up, we have Ambition. This one, I believe, is actually a Scream Factory movie. I think they actually made this one. Not got a chance to check it out yet, but looking forward to it right there. Glad to have that one there. Next up, we have Dracula. Now, this one right here, I did not like it as much as I like the older ones. I think the older Hammer and Universal ones are so much better than this right here. This one is, well, I mean, this is Universal, but it's newer Universal. Not my thing. The ones from the 30s through 60s are a lot better. Next up, this is another one that I had never seen until I purchased, and I don't know what took me so long, but this is a great flick right here. This is a really good one. Really fun, good movie right here. I love that film. Glad to have that one as well. Next up, we have the Fly box set right here, which has all 5 Fly films. Part 1, Return of the Fly, Curse of the Fly remake, and the Fly 2. And until this box set, I've never seen the original Fly, and I must say that is a good-ass movie. I swear, as a kid, you know, as a kid, the oldest films I'd watch is maybe late 70s, mostly 80s, and then, on from there and stuff like that. But as now I got older, I fucking love older films, man. It's just, it's like a whole new light. I love older films. 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, they're just, it's incredible what they were able to accomplish at that time. I'm way into Hammer right now and just really, really cool. But anyway, back on Jamie Lee Curtis Road Games. I have not got a chance to check this one out yet. I hear decent things about it, but we'll see. Next up, we got the Slumber Party Massacre Steelbook, and I actually did get the bundle too, so I do have the figure and I do have the poster also like that. Just didn't bring that out here, but got that one right there, and that's actually it for the Scream Factories. So next up, let's knock out the one Arrow that I did get. I've been slacking on Arrow, I think, lately, but I did get the RoboCop limited edition set right here. Glad to have that one. Movie is a classic. Awesome stuff. Next up, what is this label that I just started? Unearthed Classics. So this is my first Unearthed Classics. I have not had any of them yet, and I got Nightwish. Still haven't got a chance to check this out, but I have heard amazing things about it. So glad to start my journey with Unearthed, collecting those. And then next up, we have the one Kino that I got, which is the Pit. I'm glad to have that one right there. I've not checked that one out yet. Next up, we have the one Severn that I had, and that is Saint Bernard. And I actually got this one for a good deal from my cousin. And this one is actually signed by the cast also, and this was actually a really fun movie, man. I really love movies like this that just are just filmed, just seeing outlandish, crazy stuff like this, and just basically the mind of a psychopath, and just a psychopath, and the way that they put it on film is just really, really neat. Awesome stuff right there. I really enjoyed that movie. Next up, let's go straight into the Vinegar Syndromes. Okay, so Vinegar Syndrome. This is actually most stuff that I got from Black Friday, so this is a long overdue video. My apologies about that, but here first we have There's Nothing Out There. This one right here, cool little creature feature, awesome stuff right there. Next up we have Secta Sinistra. Cool slipcover right there. The Vinegar Syndrome just does amazing on their slipcovers. I haven't got to watch this one out. I started watching it, but then I was like, I'm not into the subtitles right now, so I just had to turn it off. But I will revisit it. It did seem pretty interesting. I just wasn't too tired to read the subtitles. Next up, we have Beyond Evil. Have not got a chance to check this one out yet, but awesome slipcover. Glad to have that right there. Next up, we have The Vineyard. Also have not got a chance to check this one out yet. Have heard decent things about it, though. Cool to have that one there. Next up, we have Pledge Night. And, this one I did watch, and I just could not get into it. This movie, I mean, man, the first fucking 40 minutes was nothing but stupid. What do they call it? Whatever the fraternities do, whatever the fuck it's called. It's so fucking stupid. But the last 20 minutes, yeah, I got a little bit better, but it still just was not my cup of tea. Definitely not my cup of tea, that one right there. Next up, we have Hell Comes to Frogtown with a cool slipcover. Awesome stuff. Again, I have not got a chance to check this out. Buying so many movies with no time to actually watch them. But glad to have that one right there. This one, Hellmaster right here. Cool slipcover. I love how they do the little using the inside of it. But this one I actually did watch. And this one, it had the dad from the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's funny, I've heard nothing but bad things about it, but I actually dug this movie. I thought it was actually a cool, fun movie, man. I like this one. Cool stuff right there. That was a good one. Next up, we have Play Dead. This one I actually liked as well. This one, I mean, it starts off a little bit slow, but the concept is actually pretty cool and interesting, and I had fun with it. I thought it was a good one. Like that movie. Goodbye right there. Next up, we have In the Cold of the Night. This one I have not got a chance to check out. I actually still haven't even opened it. But yeah, I have not seen this one yet, and haven't even heard anybody talk about it. Nothing. Next up, we have Pigs. And this one had to get the slipcover when they released that. Glad to have that one right there. Next up, we have Luther the Geek. This one, all I had to do is buy the slipcover because I already own the film. Glad to have that there. Next up, we have Christmas Evil. And this slipcover is just fucking epic. That is just an amazing, amazing slipcover. Even their original cover is really, really neat. Good one right there. Next up, we have Tammy and the T-Rex. It's hilarious, man. My 2-year-old, almost going to be 3-year-old son, I don't want to sound like a bad parent, but he fucking loves this film. He always asks me to watch this movie. It's funny, really cool. I like this one, though. Lots of fun. We have a blast with it. Next up, we have Spookies right here, and this one I'd never seen until they actually released it. But I've been hearing good things about it before Vinegar Syndrome even announced it, and yeah, it was a blast, man. Really cool creature effects, really fun time. Glad to have that there. Next up, we have the VSA's Savage Dawn right here. Glad to have that one. Trying to keep up to date with all their VSAs. I am 1383 out of 4,000. Weird that they did 4,000 copies on this one, but glad to have that there. Next up, we have Vice Academy 1 through 3, again for the VSAs. Have not got a chance to watch either one of these yet. It's cool that Linnea Quigley's in this one. Also 1560 out of 3,000. A little bit less on that one. Right there. Next up, we have the Angel box set right here. And this one also was, I think it was limited to 4,000, something like that. But it has 1 through 3 in there. I got a chance to watch part 1, and I really, really enjoyed that one. It's a really cool flick. Started part 2, but didn't get to finish it, but that one also seemed pretty cool. I heard good things about both those. Part 3 I heard was not even with the original girl. But first one, I thought it was a really, really, really good movie. Really enjoyed that one. So that's it with the Vinegar Syndromes that I got. I did have like 4 other titles that I don't know if I showed in a previous video, but I believe it was Berserker, Beyond the Doors 3, basically that month. So if you're watching these videos, you probably collect them as well. So I'm not sure if I put those in a video or not, but glad to have those ones there. Let's start going into kind of mainstream stuff. I'm into trying to complete my franchises right now, so I already have Wrong Turn 1 through 3. So I ended up getting Wrong Turn 4, Wrong Turn 5, and Wrong Turn 6. So now I have all the Wrong Turns. I'm glad to have those there. Now let's go into a little bit more of the indie stuff, newer indie stuff. I have The Shed right here. I have not got a chance to check this out, but I heard kind of mixed things about it. But glad to have that one there. Actually, it's a vampire movie too, and they haven't came out with a vampire movie in a long time, so I'm really excited to check this one out. Next up, we have Trick, and this one I really, really enjoyed this one. It was really cool to see. What the fuck is his name? Omar Epps. Yeah, Omar Epps back in the movie from Juice, man. It's cool to see him in a movie and in a horror movie. Juice, In Too Deep. He was in hella movies. But yeah, I really like this indie movie, man. It was really good. I really enjoyed that one. Cool stuff right there. Next up, we have Satanic Panic, and I did have to order it from Amazon, so it actually says Satanic Panic instead of buying it at Walmart, where they had to edit out the word satanic. So had to have it in its original. But this movie was a no-go for me. It was fucking stupid. I thought I'd like it, at least for the little bit of gore that they had, but nah, I wasn't feeling this one at all. Not very good. Quite not it. But next up, we have Nightmare Cinema. This is an anthology film, and this one I actually really, really dug. There was one fucking story where the mom goes inside like this therapy session where her sons brought her in there and like they set her up. Man, that was a cool fucking story, man. That one was creepy as shit. That was a good one. There was a couple other ones that were really, really good too. Maybe 1 or 2, or maybe 1 that just wasn't that good. But this overall was a really, really fucking cool anthology. Really glad to have that one. Cool shit right there. Next up, now let's start going into more of the mainstream stuff. You saw earlier in the Scream Factory they got Psycho 2 and 3, so I had to get the original right here. Got the original Psycho Steelbook right here. Glad to have that one. Have not watched this movie in a long time, so I really need to revisit that. And I've never even seen part 2 and 3, and I've heard decent things about part 2. 3 that's kind of iffy. But next up we have Secret Window. I love this film right here. This is a really good one. Really good film. Love that one. Glad to have that one. I had it too a long time ago. I don't know what the fuck I did with it though. But next up we have Dr. Sleep. Damn, this is an amazing movie. This was I don't know how the hell you can make a sequel 30 years later and have such an amazing flick. This is a good one right here. Glad to have that one right there. Next up, we have Ready or Not. I have not got a chance to watch this, but I've heard nothing but good things. It was on a lot of people's top 10 list for the year, so I'm very excited to check that one out. Next up, we have It Chapter 2. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I hated the first the It Chapter 1. Love the original. But this one, man, I don't know what it is. And it's funny because I always hear the opposite. People say they don't like this one, but they like Chapter 1 better. Me, I'm the complete opposite. This one was fucking pretty badass. I really enjoyed it. They kind of overkilled with how long the fucking movie is. The opening for this movie is probably one of the best fucking openings that I've seen in a movie in a long time, man. What they did to those gay guys was so fucked up. Like they fucked them up for just being like that. And it's like really cold-blooded. Love that they went there in a mainstream movie especially, and then for the clown to fuck them up right after and just eat them. Like it was like, damn, they went there, and it just a great film. This one was really good. Really good. Glad to have that there. Next up, this is actually my little brother recommended this to me, and I still haven't watched it yet, but I got Cloverfield. Have never seen it before, but glad to have that one there. If I like that, I'll get the other two. Next up, man, this one, shoot myself in the head. We used to watch this movie all the time as a kid. Found it really cheap. Glad to have it. Boom. Then what happens? Scream Factory announces that they're going to be releasing it. So now, of course, I have to buy the Scream Factory version. But cool to rewatch this movie. Glad to see what excited to see what Scream Factory is going to do with it. With hopefully some interviews, good stuff like that. Next up, my homeboy Bugsy, he actually sent this to me. We're always hooking each other up, but he sent me this, The Possession Hand of Grace. And at the time, I've never seen it before, and I actually watched it, and I thought this movie was actually really fucking good. It was very similar with The Autopsy of Jane Doe, but I really did enjoy it. I like this movie a lot. Cool shit. Good shit right there. Good looking out, Bugsy. Next up, we have The Prodigy. This is another one that I didn't see until I bought it, and I really liked what they did with it. A lot of the creepy kid things kind of getting played out, but the take that they did on it, they did really good, really original. Liked it. Next up, we have Overlord. This is another one. This one will probably be on my top 10 for the year. This is a really good one right here. Fucking great mix of war and horror and gore and zombies and all kind of infection, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Really fun, great movie right there. Good one. Next up, we have Critters Attack, and I love the original Critters movies. I thought that this one was lots of fun. Cool that they're bringing the series back, and I thought they did good with it. The effects, the story, awesome stuff. Really excited and glad to have that one there. They did a good job. Next up, we have Brightburn, and this is another one I heard really good things about, but never watched it until I purchased it, and man, it was a blast. Really good movie. Cool take on a story that has been done so many times. Different though, but really awesome. Loved it. Next up, we have Zombieland Double Tap. Now, this movie I liked a lot. A lot of people hated it. I liked it. I didn't think the comedy was there though, like in the original, at all. Like the original, I was fucking busting up laughing when I seen it. This one, I chuckled a couple times. But when it comes to like action, zombie stuff, violence, they did hit it on the button. It was just as good as the original when it comes to that. But the comedy though, they just didn't work for me. But as just a normal movie, thought it was really cool to see everybody back in action. Next up, this is another one. I have a feeling that one day Scream Factory is going to release it, so I may be biting my tongue for buying it. But I got Joyride. I used to watch this movie all the time with my mom's back in the day, and glad to have it and see it again. I always enjoyed that one. Next up, we have Crawl, and it's another one, man. I can't believe that they did a mainstream alligator movie. You know, it's a really neat movie. I love the effects, the fucking atmosphere when the city is flooded and stuff. Man, they fucking nailed it on the button. Good fucking movie right there. Good movie, good movie. Next up, we have Annabelle Comes Home. And to tell you the truth, I did watch it, and I can't even remember it all. It shows how good it was, right? Fuck. I don't know what it is about these Annabelle movies, but I keep buying them, and they keep disappointing. I mean, part 2 was okay. Part 1 had decent things about it. I need to rewatch this because I literally can't remember not one bit of it. Nothing. And then again, I think just because I love the first 2 Conjuring movies so much that I keep buying anything that has to do with Conjuring. But I got Curse of La Llorona, and fuck, man, you know, I remember the maze for La Llorona and fucking Universal Studios was fucking epic, and I wish they would have went that route with this movie, and they just didn't. And I don't know, I couldn't get into it, couldn't even finish it. Next up, we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I fucking loved the books as a kid. I remember my teacher in 4th grade used to read these stories to us, and I thought it was the funnest shit in the fucking world. I remember the fucking imaging in it was just awesome. And you know, there's parts of this movie I liked. There's parts of it that I didn't like. I wish Guillermo del Toro did more than just produce the movie. You know, I don't even know why they put the name of the producer on there. Who cares who pays for it? What matters is who directs it and writes the story. But I wish he was involved more than just paying for the movie and maybe saying a couple things here and there. Because they could have did so much better than what they did with it. It was cool though. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't as good as I wanted. I think I had higher expectations for it than what happened. Next up, we have Midsummer. This is another movie I thought was okay. Didn't think it was amazing. Didn't think it was a piece of shit. But I do feel like this director needs to get off of this idea of this cult and everything like that and make something new. I mean, you know, look at Jordan Peele. You know, he made 2 amazing movies, and he did, you know, different concepts. You know, this guy made Hereditary, which was fucking amazing, and then tried to do the same thing all over again, just with a slightly different twist. You know, which again, it worked in a way, but in a way it was not. It's the same thing, just worse version of it. Yeah, Midsummer. Glad to have it though still also. And then, you know, my side little job, I do Lyft in the city of San Francisco. I actually picked up this director and took him to the airport. And his name is... losing my mind right now, but Jack Perez. Picked up Jack Perez, took him to the airport, and he actually gave me this movie, and I had never seen it until he gave it to me, and it's some guy who kills people. And glad to have this movie. Really cool guy, man. We bullshitted for like 45 minutes about horror and just awesome stuff. Really cool guy, and really fun movie. Glad to have met him. Let me move these out of the way real quick a bit. So that's actually it for the horror. We're finally done with the horror. I will add in one more thing though that is horror related before I move into the other movies that are not horror related. For Valentine's Day, my lady was kind enough to get me this, and it has opened up a new can of worms now, because now I have to collect these, and I'm stuck on them, and I'm obsessed with it, and can't wait to get more of them. But now I have the first Waxworks vinyl, the soundtrack for Creepshow right here. So glad to have that right there. And like I said, I am now hooked, and I will be getting a lot more. So glad to have glad to have that right there. Wanted to share that with you guys. So now we'll go into the non-horror stuff. So if you don't want to see this, go ahead and just hit the like button and go to another video. But we will go into... First up, I got the 8 Mile Steelbook. The FYE had a buy one, get one free. So I actually got this one and Zoolander for $10. Both of them for $10. So really, really cool to get that right there. Next up, we have Addams Family. Got this one. I do need to rewatch it because I wasn't paying full attention to it, but it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Pretty cool stuff. Next up, I had to get Boys in the Hood. I used to have this movie back on VHS a long time ago, man. It's been a while since I've seen it. Glad to get that one back in the collection. Excuse me. Next up, we have Jay and Silent Bob, the reboot. And man, I used to love Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That was my shit back in the day. And, it's, I don't know if I've matured a lot since then or what, but, it wasn't as funny as the original, but they fucking captured that vibe of the original so damn well. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still funny. It's just like, the first one, I was just like dying laughing. But man, they captured it so well. They even got Shannon Elizabeth to come back in this movie, and that just like blows my mind. But I had a blast with it. I thought it was fun. Cool shit. Glad to have that. Next up, man, I did not see this movie until I bought it. And fuck, this movie is amazing. This movie is incredible. It could definitely be on my top, maybe even 5 best movies I've ever seen in my life. Great fucking movie right here. Great movie. Incredible. And congratulations to Joaquin Phoenix, my nigga, for winning the award, the Academy Award for Best Actor, man. He deserved it. That was the best acting I've ever seen in my life, man. He did that so well. Next up, we have Cadillac Records. I love this movie. I used to watch it all the time. Glad to have this one back in the collection right there. Next up, the only reason I bought this because it's really cheap and I love the other one, Shaft. Started watching it. It was okay. But Shaft, got that right there. Next up, used to watch this one all the time as a kid. Glad to have it. Used to have it on VHS. But we have Speed right here. Another one of my niggas right there, Keanu Reeves. Next up, we have Juice. Gotta have Juice, man. Gotta have everything with Tupac in it because I am the brown Tupac. I'm the Latino Tupac, okay? So glad to have Juice right there. Next up, we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This movie, I didn't think it was as good as everybody said, but at the same time, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really awesome take, especially awesome take on the Charles Manson thing. If only it really happened like that, because it didn't. But if only really it happened like that, it would be a lot better story, I guess, to tell. But awesome, cool movie. Again, I didn't think it was as good as everybody else said, but I really did enjoy it. Love the Hangover movies, but I don't know what I did with Part 3, so I rebought Part 3. Glad to have that back in the collection. And next up, we have John Q. Great flick. Glad to have that one in the collection. And then last but not least, I am a proud member of the Disney Club, so I got a couple Disney movies here. We got Sleeping Beauty, the original, and we got 101 Dalmatians. And I actually have 101 Dalmatians too, but my daughter has that in her room right now, and I forgot to bring it out. But thank you for bearing with me on this long-ass video right here. That is everything, and finally I get to put these movies back, or in sequence now, in my collection. So a little bit of load off my shoulders. They've been stacked up for a while now. So thank you for watching. Please hit like, subscribe, tell a friend, and I'll be back soon. Out.